the volume all the way up for Gruden?
Volume is up for Gruden, Nick?
You want to be able to hear in the room.
You want to be able to hear it in the room.
We won't do Gruden until after this second.
Yep. Nick, Gruden comes after the first segment.
Say anything before you come up.
We're just gonna just come up, and I'm gonna be like David. I know you like to pre.
Let's do this pre.
I like it.
Yep.
Nick, Noah will tell you in the queue.
Are we jogging up, Tyson? Jogging?
So I step up, swing the knee.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this pregame for this postgame going. Let's roll. All right, boys, we got the pregame ritual.
We had a little bit of an issue. Okay, I know you like a clear bowl for your pregame. We didn't have a clear bowl. All right, and I know you love a big bottle of Saratoga.
Only Saratoga.
We didn't have that. We have Muscle Milk and Red Bull.
Well, that's freaking perfect. Let's rip it.
But I do have ice. Are you ready for this?
That's an upgrade from what I expected. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
here's your pregame
Let's do
ritual.
it. Make sure you get that sound. That's beautiful.
Yeah, there we go.
That's nice.
Here we go. You ready? Pop it.
My poor face.
Delicious.
You gonna be okay there, big guy?
It's called muscle milk.
Muscle.
Get up.
Let's see those guns at work. Mr. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu can't twist the top off.
I know, what's
Holy
going
hell.
on? What's
We need
going on?
we're gonna need another producer.
This is terrible. I can't get it.
Do we have any women with nails in the building?
Got it. Muscle milk did not work. Here we go. Let me shake it up for you really good. Here we go.
We like it extra foamy.
And
Oh, that's nice. Make sure you get that. That's beautiful.
are you sure you're going to do this? Are you sure you're going to
Let's
do this?
go.
All right.
We only got one speed. Roll the tape.
Hey, good morning. This is John Gruden, the old coach here in Tampa, Florida. You know, if there's one thing that I know, it's defense. Defense ain't boring. But defense trade shows, that's another story. Until now. It's time for Defense Game Day. Hot takes? Yep. Games? You got it. So follow Defense Game Day. It starts right now. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Apex Defense, welcome to Defense Game Day. I am your host, Noah Scheinbaum. We're kicking off the post-game show, and we're going to bring up the crew to do it. First up, ladies and gentlemen, at a stunning 6'10", from Rockport, Maine, that F-22 loving, lobster eating, Lockheed alum and founder of Prism, Matthew Hawkins. Next up, that plasma gasification lover, trained native, just out of the Navy as a surface warfare officer. He is your second co-host, and his name is Michael Knickerbocker. All right, boys. We'll kick this thing off. Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat. All right. It's been quite a day here. Been quite a first day here at Apex Defense. We're gonna break it down. What is that? What is that? What is that we hear? What is that noise in the background?
I
Oh
thought
my
I locked that
goodness.
up in my hotel room.
I think, could it be? Oh boy, it's the boys from the Goat Rodeo. We got a Goat Rodeo takeover. Welcome to the stage, the Reveal Technology CEO and founder, Garrett Smith, joined by the VP of Government Affairs and Strategy, Simon Coon. Gentlemen, welcome to Defense Game Day.
Unreal.
I love
taking over your events, Noah. This is good. Very excited.
Let's go. It's been a fun 2 weeks here with Garrett and Simon. I got to pop into Goat Rodeo last week. Simon nearly lost his job. Apparently, my appearance was so bad. They said, "Don't. If you ever leave again, we're going to fire you." But here we are. Apex Defense. It's been a heck of a day. We've had about, 10 hours of content here as we hit the post-game hour. And so we're going to liven it up a little bit. We encourage everybody, go grab a drink. There's some finger foods. There's your 67th tea sandwich of the day. They got some great bottled water. They do not have Saratoga in the building. We've searched high and low. There's plenty of Muscle Milk, plenty of Red Bull, and apparently cigars too, Garrett.
I'm just concerned there aren't any Rippets here. No Rippets? No Rippets.
Hey,
I'm going to have to stop you first. So I retired out of Naval Safety Command. I am sitting next to a Marine with alcohol, so I need to be prepared here.
That is grape juice, my friend. All right. Before we kick this thing off, first off, big thanks to Apex Defense for putting on a great event today, for letting us start off
No
and
concussions.
close out the day. Pretty unhinged, pretty ridiculous decision, especially letting a bunch of grown men with alcohol on stage. But we're gonna have some fun. Second of all, I would be remiss if I did not once again shout out our wonderful presenting sponsors. You can see them right here on the right side and the left side of my jacket. I am very much for sale, ladies and gentlemen. Talk to me after the show. Prism, the Arena Forterra. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for letting us do our thing.
I'm cheaper to buy.
I don't even know what's happening up here. All right. So, gentlemen, we're going to play a little game here today. We're going to do a little Goat Rodeo roundup. Okay, we're going to co-opt your brand. We're going to bring it here to Apex Defense. We're going to round out the day. Here are the rules. This is how this thing's going to work. We got 5 topics to discuss. We're going to go down the line. We're going to give you guys 30 seconds each. You're going to try to impress us with your hottest takes, your most insightful insights, your punchiest quips. And I'm going to be the judge, jury, and executioner. We're going to award 1 point each round. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points is going to be welcome to step forward onto our soapbox here and deliver whatever you would like to this illustrious crowd for 60 uninterrupted seconds. Speaking of interruptions, however, we do have a few. Over to my left.
Wait, what?
See what he did there? Over to my left, stage right, we have the challenge booth. Ladies and gentlemen, in the stands, as you approach your second, third, or fourth glass of whiskey, if you are so inclined to take on any of the takes from any of our co-hosts, you can approach the challenge booth, visit with Mr. Tennessee, grab that challenge flag, give that thing a whirl. You will have 15 seconds to rebut anything that a host has said, and the host will have 15 seconds to respond. Again, we will have a referee, we might mix this one up. We will have a referee, be judge, jury, and executioner. If you win, be careful, you might just have to take their place on stage. We encourage audience participation here at Defense Game Day. Something, Garrett? Was that?
My seat is for sale. I will take bids starting at, $10.
Are you selling your chair on stage or your seat atop Reveal Technology? Just to be clear.
Negotiable. Everybody's got a number.
Everybody's got a price.
Does he
Everybody's got a
come
number.
with the chair?
Everybody's got a price. All right, I think we're ready, guys. Let's hit it. Let's get ready for Goat Rodeo Roundup. Okay, to kick us off, 5 topics, 30 seconds each. Our very first topic today is going to be, drum roll please, Make DoD SOCOM. We've talked a lot about innovation today. We've talked about flexible acquisition authorities. We've talked about doing things a little bit different. Well, when you talk about fast, when you talk about flexible, SOCOM often hits the top of the list. We want your spiciest takes, your most insightful insights. Should we make DoD SOCOM? Matt, we will start with you. 30 seconds.
No. No, we should not. I think there are a lot of great things about what SOCOM's done. I think there is a lot of technology you can buy quickly, but I don't think that we can just peanut butter spread that methodology and just clear all the J-books and make everything a lot easier in PPB. I think there are processes in place. I may be the hot take of saying that some processes work. I don't think it's as easy as that. So that's my starting answer.
As the founder of Prism, you do have a vested interest in keeping some J-books in the mix.
I'm not saying jack about my interests right now, okay?
All right, so we got to know. Mr. Knickerbocker.
No, but we should all get their cool sunglasses. The problem with SOCOM is they have to be agile in acquisitions because they need what they need right now to use it and then probably throw it away because they have people to take care of it. When you look at the rest of DoD, maintenance matters. Continued operational support matters. .mlpf matters. If you're SOCOM, you really don't care because you have auxiliary that worries about those problems.
I'm sorry, what exactly are you wearing right now? And am I supposed to take that answer seriously?
I am wearing freedom.
This is coming from a guy who quipped at me, I am not an airman, and I'm pretty sure that is it. What is that hat?
I said aviator.
It's a scrum cap.
It is a scrum cap because we have a lot of people from across the pond, and I didn't think they'd recognize an actual football helmet.
Can we get a fact check from our friends from the UK or anywhere that plays rugby?
I need a Brit.
Is this indeed a rugby cap, or are we being gaslit here on stage at Defense Game Day?
Where's the Rowden folks?
If you have a response, please approach the challenge stand. We want to hear from you.
But just to be clear, the Revolutionary War did start 250 years ago this week.
Wow.
So we have the ultimate mic drop.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah,
I love
deep cut.
Actually, it's quite timely. We love that. Hey, Cindy, 250-year anniversary. Thank you for our freedom. We appreciate it. Garrett, over to you.
Should DoD become SOCOM?
Should
is the
DoD
question.
be SOCOM?
No, actually, you know what? I think DoD innovates and acquires technology too fast. I actually recommend we slow everything down maybe another decade or so per program. I'm nervous that the American voters are not going to put up with this speed to peace and security. I don't think they're having it.
I think there's a saying, slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Damn
is that
right.
what we're going for
Yes,
here?
yes,
Slow
exactly.
acquisition is
Slow it
is
down.
good acquisition.
Minimum innovation,
Yeah.
minimal uptake. That's what I
Yeah.
think we're.
I want to make
that's what
sure
I
we
think
have you
need.
on record here. Is this an abolish the Doge situation too? Just kind of keep everything exactly as it is?
I actually think you keep Doge, just flip it on its head, make it slow things down, hire more people,
Make it
put in
fatter.
more processes and layers. Yeah.
So a little bit
Yeah.
of a force feed,
Don't
kind of a
touch
foie
my drum
gras
set.
DoD, the situation here. Just force feed them.
Yeah, and bulk it up. You know, that fat middle ain't fat enough. Like, double the workforce, actually. Double the workforce.
I love this. I don't know if there's still any generals in the building, but I'd love for you to approach the challenge stand. All right, Simon, 30 seconds. Make DoD SOCOM.
You cannot. It doesn't matter if you want to or don't. It's irrelevant. You could dump all of SOCOM's authorities onto DoD, and nothing would change. Not one single thing. And so every new software acquisition pathway that gets handed to the DoD acquisition system goes nowhere because the culture and the people are all that matters. So unless you are taking all of SOCOM and putting them in charge of the DoD, you can't. It's a hypothetical that can't be
I
solved.
like that last point. Leadership swap.
Take all the special
There we
operators.
go. I'm on board with a leadership swap.
And put them on headquarters duty. That's interesting. Well, give us one more line on this. I don't want to. Before we move on to the next round, the people are what matter. What is so unique about SOCOM operators that is not replicable among big DoD?
Any organization has its own culture, right? SOCOM is unique because of that culture, the culture that they built. DoD has its own culture. It's also unique. It just doesn't work. That's it. You're just asking, can I take all of the bits and bytes from SOCOM and lay them on DoD? No, because the culture's not there.
Okay, so we're 0 for 4 on this one. We have all no's. There's absolutely no yes. This is a terrible idea. Let's see. I'm going to actually open this up to the audience. If you're in the audience, we're going to go down the line. I want to hear by applause who you think deserves the point that round. Let's start with Matt, my friend Matt Hawkins. Okay, we got quite a cheering crew over here. All right, and how about Mr. Knickerbocker, Michael Knickerbocker?
Oh, there we go.
Got a couple. We've got Michael for himself. How about Garrett Smith, fatten department up?
This guy voted twice.
We got a few. And Simon Kuhn. Simon Kuhn. It's all about the people.
Oh, no.
A for enthusiasm. Honestly, the point goes to Matt. Matt had the most broad appeal in
Thank
round
you.
1. So there
Thank
we go.
you. Starting.
Hanging
Matt,
Chad.
Matt takes round 1. All right, don't worry. We still got 4 rounds to go. So the second round, gentlemen, consultants in DoD, yay or nay? Big EO, big directive last couple of weeks. We want to cut the fat. No more Deloitte, no more Accenture. We're trimming them out. Do consultants have a role to play in the department? And if so, in what ways? Matt, over to you.
So this is not satirical. I think, yes, they do. And I will say I do love consultants. I think they're a product. the complaints are a product of the system. It's not necessarily the people. If you give them better tools and better incentives, you'll fix most of the problems that you complain about. So I'm not wearing an iHeart consultant shirt, but I would if I could.
That's a lot of love for consultants. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the smell of muscle milk out of my nose. Michael, consultants, yay or nay?
Yay, because it was one of those firms that hired me. But the thing with consultants, though, is you can't just lock someone into that job, have them be there forever. You know, them being embedded makes sense. What Doge cut made sense. But at some point in time, we all have an expiration date on the shelf. So in 5 to 10 years, am I still relevant to that command because I never actually served in that Navy? Probably not. Hopefully, I'm still employed.
So you're talking about staff augmentation. You're talking about people kind of filling those bills.
Staff augmentations that do it. But, you know, you need people to come in and tell the DoD what to do, or they're not going to do it.
Okay, we've got 2 on the yay side. Garrett, over to you.
I thought that was Congress's role, not the consultant's role, to tell the department what to do, or maybe
They're
maybe
too
the
busy
exec-
campaigning.
Yeah, I guess that could be true. First, Noah, you're not supposed to snort the muscle milk.
You know, I have a problem, and I'd appreciate you not
He's
bringing it
from
out.
New
Also,
York.
front
talk
all
about
the
being
time.
for
we can-
sale.
We can talk afterwards. I'll tell you how to.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, I'll tell you how to mainline the muscle milk. Consultants, yay or nay? Nay. I'm going to come down, I guess, controversially on the nay side. And the entirely serious point is that consultants are often used as a buffer and as a diffuser of accountability when the uniformed executive in question really just needs to accept the accountability and move things along and make a decision rather than doing the risk aversion play of hiring consultants and providing that buffer. Yeah,
It's a little bit of an analysis paralysis argument there.
I think so. Yeah.
Little grid skin the gears or whatever that is. Yeah. Can we turn Garrett's mic up a little bit? We're a little low. I think Garrett's making some good points. People deserve to hear him. Thank you. Simon, over to you.
Do they?
You can't hear me?
That's better. That's better.
Do more with less. No. As an enlisted Marine, never saw a consultant, never interacted with a consultant, didn't have this problem. Get rid of them.
Do you think you did not interact with the consultant, or were they just that good at blending in that you didn't know who you were dealing with?
No, we can smell the others.
There could be one behind you right
There's
now.
Marines and then there's others. And we're very aware of
Is
who
consultant
is not one
in
of
the
tribe.
room with you right now?
I'll eat crayons.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and award the point on this one to Garrett. I thought Garrett won that round.
Nice work, Garrett.
All right. So that brings us into the midway point, round number 3. We're going to mix it up this time. We're going to mix up the order. Round number 3, atoms or bits. The first program of record to be awarded to a startup, a company founded after 2019, backed with venture dollars. Will that be a software-defined program, or will it be a hardware-centric program? Simon is looking at me like it's a trick question. It may indeed be a trick question.
Did we rewrite the rules to exclude Palantir?
From
Are they
the
not a
answer to this question?
venture-backed startup before 2019?
Feel free to, well,
Hot take,
There
was
is.
that a hardware first program of record?
all right, order. Let's go ahead and start with Michael. Michael, you're first up. We're going to wrap around this time. We'll wrap around this way. 30 seconds for Michael.
I feel like I'm being set up, but it's going to be software. Already might have happened. But regardless, when it comes to hardware selections, can't get out of our own way. Software, someone's going to push that through, and most of the knuckle draggers like myself aren't going to know to say no.
Okay. Sorry. So just to be clear, we're talking about, yes, you're right. Palantir is absolutely a company that has one program's record. I said after 2019, so Palantir's pre.
Didn't Anduril win the Sentry Tower program of record in 2019?
Hardware.
Is it? I mean, they're pretty clearly saying software,
Point of
Trojan
order.
horse,
That's DHS,
hardware.
not DOD. Doesn't count.
Point of order.
We're losing
Objection.
control up here. Garrett, why don't you go ahead and make your 30-second point, and then we'll let everybody else fill in here.
So the question you're asking is hardware or software? Do you want me to name a company? You don't care.
The next big win. Let's do that. Next big win, hardware or software?
I think the only win that will matter as a signal to the market that we're involved in is software. I'm going to come down on software. You need a big software program of record awarded to a non-traditional upstart as a signal to the market that, yes, this is a place for innovators. Yes, this is a place for risk capital. Yes, this is a place where software is a bet on the future. Yes.
Like DCGS and Palantir. Got it. Awesome. Simon.
I think the next big program of record for a venture-backed startup will be hardware. And I say that because DoD is built to do hardware. And it's going to be much harder for them to solve their software problem than it is to solve their hardware problem. I think if I could pick what's in order of importance, it would be software. But I think they will take the easy button and award hardware first because they already have the tubes in place.
A nuanced argument there from our resident rabble-rouser. Matt, bring us home.
I'm kind of on his page with that. I don't think it's because I do think it's a part of the system that we do need to buy something. I also just think that when you're going to buy software, it's going to be inherently easier to build new versions of it. More entrants are going to be able to come in. If you're talking about like a true program of record, it's going to be something that's a longer lead time, something that's got a hardware component to it. So software defined, sure. But the reason I pushed back on the Palantir thing was that they had to buy the actual systems to go implement into the field. And then the software, I think, was part of the offering that made it differentiated. But no, I don't think it's going to be a software first. Go buy from a software vendor, then figure out the hardware later. You got to buy the hardware first and then figure out the software.
Okay, very good. We're going to speed this up because the Red Bull is now trickling down the back of my throat. Wonderful. So that one, I think for originality, point goes to Simon. So we've got a decent even spread here. Michael, we'll hope to see you on the board here within the next 2 rounds for your own sanity. Okay, we're moving into round number 4. Oh, this is a good one. This is my personal favorite. Everything is computer. Famously, recent remark by someone with a little bit of power in this town. As DoD and the National Security Enterprise going more and more digital, the question is, should we pull back? Are there systems that should actually be analog systems for America's national defense? Why or why not? And we will start with Simon, since you won the last round.
No. Unless you count guns.
Boots.
Yeah, where do guns
Body
factor
armor.
in
Smoky
here?
boots.
The analog system is the infantryman. It's the warfighter. That's the thing that keeps fighting, even when all your machines break. You couldn't replace it with a computer, despite what some think. So I'm not worried about it. Make all the computers you want, as long as there's still an infantryman on the front lines for America, it'll buff out.
So no full human robots in the near future for you.
No chance. Not while I'm still breathing.
Bold claims. That's why we pay him the big bucks. All right, let's go the other direction. Garrett, you're up.
I agree completely with Simon. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, invest in the human operator, because that is the thing that persists beyond fail points in machines and systems. Human beings occupy terrain. Human beings defend it. Human beings make use of that terrain, and it's all in service to the human objective. And so, I think we're playing around with your prompt here a little bit, and I apologize for that. But, it's all about us humans in the end.
So humans are, in this case, a digital or an analog system, just so I'm clear.
I'd be remiss if I did not speak up on behalf of my Marine Corps community, which is the reconnaissance community. A key communications modality for us is high-frequency radio comms, which is certainly not digital, and it's playing with pieces of the RF spectrum to do really interesting communications-based stuff over very long distances, and it's a modality that I don't think goes out of style. Ditto map reading, ditto just all the analog stuff that infantrymen like me were trained to do way back in the day. It's actually not going out of style. It's the way that human beings have to think and interact in complex environments.
Okay, we're going to come back to you guys for a quick fire round on should we chip the humans. But Michael, you're up next.
Yeah, that's not how I understood the question at all. So when I was on Gerald R. Ford, we replaced the aircraft elevators with a digital interface that was a touchscreen. It didn't work for crap, can I say shit, in the rain. So we wound up going back to the old analog system. I had elevators that I couldn't get working because the computer took a dump. So why are my elevators
Shit.
ever going
Shit the
to
bed.
be completely digital? At some point in
Proactively
time,
muted
when
it.
I take battle damage, hydraulic, push button, make thing go up or go down, carry bomb, carry plane, carry marine with a gun.
So bottom line, give us the bluff. No,
Not everything can be digital.
everything is not computer.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes or no? You-
Unless the computer becomes analog.
Matt, save us, please.
No chance. I do think the largest threat to national security is the American mind, and how it's not, or how it's evolving today. And so I do think we need to invest in the human mind. They said it much more eloquently than me, but no, I do not think that everything should and will go digital. We should invest in multiple types of analog systems, and I'll pause there.
Okay, you all turned this question exactly on its head. So
I'm
we're
so
gonna
sorry.
try. We're gonna try flipping this the other direction. We're gonna try one more time. Give you one more shot. With more and more systems going digital, should we take any systems that have gone digital and bring them back to analog to protect the country?
I think he answered that.
Yes.
That's correct. Michael's the only one who answered the question. Therefore, 1 point to Michael.
Woo!
I need
All
a
right.
challenge flag.
Okay, you could get a challenge flag, but nobody stepped up to the booth. Hey, friends,
Don't
out
do
in
it,
the audience,
Nolan.
this
Don't
is-
do it.
This is your last chance. Here we are, final round, round 5. If you've now had your sufficient number of whiskeys, we invite you in here to watch. This is the deciding match. If you support any of the gentlemen on stage, Matt, Michael, Garrett, or Simon, this is going to be People's Choice Awards. So they need their cheering sections. Come on in here, or keep drinking your whiskey and ignore us. That's fine too. Gentlemen, round 5. Debt or equity. For startup founders in the space, and many of whom are here today, some of us are listening to us, most of them are not. Debt or equity, how should you think about capitalizing your startup to get the money you need to run the business that you are building? We have 2 of you on stage who lead companies today, another 2 of you who advise and are involved with companies. Big question. Let's start with last round's winner, Michael.
I am totally unqualified to answer this question.
Agree.
This is-
In any way, shape, or form.
Michael, I'm 5'5" and 145, soaking wet. I should not be on stage talking about defense, but here we are.
Have you not met most of the Air Force? Like, nerds can push buttons
And
that
Napoleon.
can take out enemies.
Mike, the shoes alone give you the authority to answer any question. Go for it.
The shoes have gotten so much love today.
The
Let's
leopard
get another
print
close-up on these shoes.
loafers
Let's do it again.
say, take debt.
We're back on the show. Yeah, these things, I'm telling you, this is what's Defense Game Day is going to be known for Michael Knickerbocker's leopard print shoes.
I
This
think
is where we're
they're.
at.
I think it's actual leopard skin too.
Those are
maybe
rare.
not.
Some would say he's wanted in a few African nations for illegal poaching, but we neither here nor there. So,
Or for the scrum cap.
what was
It
your,
could be
what
that
was your
too.
answer?
I want to get the White Fox quadcopter with the 50 cal. Go get me some new shoes
Someone
and
was
a
just
belt.
pitching this demo today, the quadcopter with a hunting rifle. Anyway, okay. So your answer is debt always? Just take lever up?
You s-
Spoken
well,
like a true member of the United States government.
yeah, right? I'm just going to keep printing money. I'm a startup, right? That's how it works.
Lever up cowboy. All right, here we go. Matt, let's come to you next. We're mixing this one up.
I think I would start with equity. I think a key caveat here is that if you're going to build in this space, you do need to have a foundational founder market fit. You can't just walk into this space and figure it out. Whatever kind of money you take, you're not going to be successful if you don't know this market from the start or work with people who do. But I would lean towards equity at the early stages.
For personal company, what's the...
No, independent of the fact that we started bootstrap, then venture,
Yeah.
we haven't gone debt. I think debt is great for scaling once you have a prototype that you actually have execution ability on.
Yeah.
But when you're still figuring it out and it may take 6 months to hear back from the government on something, you don't want to be paying interest payments during that time. So early stage venture.
Good answer. Cool. Why don't we move to Simon next?
I think you take venture capital if your idea doesn't suck. Because if you believe in your idea, then you're going to grow and everybody's going to eat. And if you don't believe in your idea, then stay home.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Hard to argue. Can I just tell you how smooth my skin is feeling from that muscle milk? I don't know if anybody out there has
You're
ever...
not supposed to rub it on your face either.
Honestly, it's fantastic. Okay, Garrett, you have the last word on this round.
Cash is king. Whatever someone will give you, debt, If it's an equity transaction, fine. If it's a debt transaction, fine. You need capital to run. You need it. You got to take it whatever way they'll give it to you. But I'll say that the trend lately has been debt in the form of safes. A safe or a convertible debt note in the early stages. That's pretty common. Depending on how you squint, that's either equity eventually, or it's debt, or it's both, or something. I think it's likely worth remembering that at some point, debt lives on top of the capital stack, and so in the event of liquidity or in the event of a fire sale, a big failure, a new equity round or whatever, debt is considered first, and it can be an albatross, it can be an anchor, it can be an enabler, but cash is king. At the end of the day, the founder mantra should be don't run out of money. Take it however you can get it.
It's an artful way of basically saying either or, whichever you can get. Take the money and run.
I think I won that round.
Well, let's see. Let's see if Garrett gets to light his cigar or who's going to take home the heavyweight championship belt. I think we should probably show folks what's at stake here before we do the voting. Can we have, Mr. Referee, can you please come to center stage here? Come here for a second.
All style, no
Folks,
substance
you
here.
need to see this, okay? This is important. This is what's at stake here. This is the Defense Game Day Heavyweight Championship belt. We're not playing for games here. We're not playing for shits and giggles. This is the real deal.
My underwear matches the belt.
We don't need to know that. So here's what we do need to know. We need to know who you all think won that last round, debt or equity for early stage founders. Hey, folks, if you want to vote, even if you've heard nothing, you want to just clap for one of your favorite people up here, we welcome you right now, all right? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go down the line, and we're going to see who our winner is, all right? And we're going to start on the far end for Simon Kuhn. Give it up for Simon Kuhn.
Yeah. Wait, I'm not supposed to.
Okay, respectable showing. Next up, Mr. Garrett Smith.
That's some stress. Yeah, that's good.
Mr. Michael Knickerbocker.
Much like high school, I have no friends here.
And finally, Mr. Matt Hawkins.
I think Garrett takes it.
Ladies and gentlemen, now stepping onto the soapbox for his 60-second soliloquy, the inaugural winner of Defense Game Day's Rodeo Roundup, Garrett Smith.
Yeah, nice work. Yeah.
Oh, God.
He was going to do it anyways.
Come on, brother.
Where do I stand?
Congratulations. First of all, you have enough things in your hands. Wonderful.
Do I have to watch this?
Everyone else can leave the stage.
Get out of here,
Garrett, it's
losers.
60 seconds.
Garrett, here's
of,
your 60
of
seconds of
one.
fame.
Oh, this is fantastic. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hold this microphone for you, sir.
I'm leaving.
No, I'm not. Everyone, please clear the stage. We'll give Garrett 60 seconds. Scoreboard, 60 seconds on the clock for Mr. Garrett Smith.
I got it. We're good. Ever since I was a young boy, I dreamed of this moment where I would mount the stage, Noah Scheinbaum to my right, Simon Kuhn to my left, Matt and Mike, my co-hosts and competitors, to my right and left. I just want to say I'm grateful for the opportunity, and grateful also to represent Reveal Technology, our company, and the Goat Rodeo podcast on somebody else's podcast. And I think that might be all I've got. I think I gave some snarky answers. Hopefully it wasn't too spicy, and I kept profanity to a limited minimum. And I'll just say that you're lucky I didn't light this cigar. I'll just say that you're lucky. Also, Noah, where's our celebratory muscle milk? Can we get some of that up here?
Do we have any celebratory muscle milk left in the building, or is it all on my face?
Somebody's running for
I
it.
see Cindy.
Somebody's running for it.
Cindy is running to grab the celebratory muscle milk. All right, you gonna do a dunk with me?
What does that mean exactly?
It's a yes or no answer. We don't take equivocation here at Defense
You know what?
Game Day.
You know what? I'm ballsy. Yes.
That's a hell
I'm in.
yeah. All
I'm
right,
in.
let's see. We got any muscle milk left in the
I'm
building?
in.
Let's see what we got.
Only a real founder would drink from that punch bowl over there.
I don't even know where these microphones are coming from. It's wild out here. All right, everybody. Hey, give it up for Garrett Smith one more time.
I spilled whiskey on myself in the middle of the thing.
Well done, man. Well done.
I feel like a
All
sloppy
right.
mess.
All right, everybody. Thank you to Garrett. Hey, Cindy, thank you. Oh, whoa, what do we got? That is not muscle milk. That is absolutely not muscle milk. We're going to do it. Okay, all right. What's muscle? Cindy, come on stage. Come on.
Is it Stella?
Come on. Let's bring the champagne of beers up here.
Beer muscles.
Come on. Miss Cindy Kane, the brains behind this whole operation. If you love it, it's her responsibility. If you hate it, it's all me.
Cindy, very nice to meet you. Under such circumstances.
Thank you. Great job.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
We have to, between the two of us, we have to shotgun 5 Stellas? That's amazing.
Gosh. Can we get some help up here? Michael, I think you're going to be helpful. Simon, no? I don't either. Matt, come on. Anybody else like? Yep, okay.
Those aren't Smirnoff ices.
No, those are not. Have you ever seen muscle milk before? Hold on a
I
second.
think there was muscle milk up
This
there.
is the third time today we've had to explain to our friends across the pond an American tradition. Tennessee, you got that muscle? Oh, there it is. Look at this.
It's not true. There's no tradition around muscle milk. It's no effort.
This is muscle milk. This is what I bathed my face on before we started this live stream. It's fantastic. Thank you to everybody staying with us. Coming up in 2 minutes, we've got the autonomy market weather forecast. We're going to be looking at the headwinds, the tailwinds, the storms brewing on the horizon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
How come yours are darker than mine? What are those?
And this is cheers. This is a perfect time for just
No,
very
it's okay.
quickly. Thank you to Cindy. Thank you to the Apex Defense crew. Cindy, any words for the audience?
Thank you for attending. See you tomorrow.
Not quite yet. We're not going anywhere just yet. But all right. Everybody off stage. We're
Thanks,
going to
Noah.
turn it over. Thanks for playing. Thanks for tuning in. We now coming up the very first autonomy weather forecast with very own weatherman. It turns out you know this guy, Mr. Michael Knickerbocker. Team, let's get the forecast.
Can you confirm that is a rugby scrum cap? You're supposed to be our Brit. I was asking for one. See? Confirmed. I knew what I was talking about for once. All right, so I am Mike Knickerbocker, and I'm going to do the weather. Hold my beer. All right, so what I see happening over the next 6 months is what are the headwinds going to be? And right now, with a big shift in DoD structure and leadership, we have not quite gotten to where it's settled out. So that continued policy uncertainty is going to slow down innovation over the next 2 to 3 months, and then we'll reevaluate in the summertime. And transition timelines are going to continue to push things. Even though we say we want to act fast, the ability to actually make that is going to continue to slow things down. But what are the things that are going to push us forward? Well, first off, the administration is dead set on taking the FAR and trimming it down to the legally required minimum. It is going to be key to push forward as we get a lot of the policy and bureaucracy out of the way and just focus on war fighting and getting the right equipment into people's hands. And venture capital, a big theme of what's been going on here, aside from my stupid answer about debt, is the fact that things are going to come when they're funded. And in order to get them funded by the government, they're going to have to be funded for development. And right now, venture capital is all in on freedom. They're all in on inventors and bringing the weapons to the warfighter. So, where are storms brewing? Now, I look at it 2 ways. A storm can be destructive or it can be disruptive. And one of the disruptive things that we're going to see is you're going to see as Overland AI and Forterra have debuted some of their new systems, you saw them with a payload from another startup, Allen Control Systems Bullfrog. You're going to continue to see that as new hardware comes out, it's going to be integrated with the software or hardware payloads that are coming from other companies. Because if we're going to get left of requirements in the DoD, we're going to have to deliver a finished product. So that's going to be software, payloads, and the hardware to carry it all into battle. I also suspect that you're going to continue to see consolidations and mergers where the best of a company is then matched with the best of another company. Much like we saw in Peter Thiel's book, 0 to 1, we saw PayPal become what it was because two great ideas came together to make the best idea. So what's going to happen the next 6 months? Well, after 2 years of initially awarding the contract, Huntington Ingalls has now delivered the first remus under UUVs as part of the Lionfish program for the Navy. So now that we're actually getting replicator initiative systems delivered, we're going to start to see them get tested operationally, which is then going to open up more contract opportunities. And we're going to head into increment 2 of the CCA for Loyal Wingman program in order to actually start to show and demonstrate, again, where you're seeing things like General Atomics and Shield AI bringing their best products together to provide the capability that's being sought. And then now that the Navy's talked about fighting from the operational center and the operational level of war, you're going to continue to see an increase on C2 and the importance of being able to control vastly distributed and high quantities of autonomous vehicles. I actually think that is going to be the center of gravity that has to occur before we actually see the floodgates open for the acquisition of autonomous systems. Because if I don't have the systems to actually field them, why am I going to buy them by the thousands? That's your Autonomy Weather Report. I'm Mike Knickerbocker.
Stay right there. I'm coming for you, brother. All right. Let's give it up for Michael Knickerbocker. How about that? The weatherman. That was well done, man. Thank you. Thank you. So, question for you. It seems like we have, and we can grab a seat here while we're getting set up for our power rankings, which is what's up next. There are new companies hopping into this space on almost I think it's a daily, if not certainly a weekly basis right now. Across air, land, maritime. So, you just kind of laid out headwinds, tailwinds, what's coming up. Why do you think so many companies are hopping in right now? What is so attractive about this market versus all the others?
Because I feel some of the founders and inventors think that's an easy score. Hey, we're going to be buying these by the thousands. I can be part of that. But I think the reality we're going to see is we're going to pick winners and losers. There's going to be down selects. And I think you see a lot of these companies that are coming in late because they're seeing all the momentum behind the Andurils and the Shield AIs. I think a lot of the companies that are now getting a jump are actually probably never going to get a fair shot at it because they haven't gotten inserted with the appropriators in Congress. There's already people leading that pack. They haven't built those relationships with the program offices.
So you think the perception may be off a little bit? It may seem easier than it really is.
This is not dog patch ham. This is the government. There is a finite limit at some point.
Hey, well, you know what? That's a perfect segue because what we're going to do next is break down some of the players in this space. In the autonomy market, we're going to look at air and maritime autonomy. And we're going to do it in a special way, in a new defense game day manner. We're going to do autonomy power rankings. Those start right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our contestants for our analysts for autonomy power rankings. First up, he is out of upstate New York, Buffalo, New York, the Penn State original, the blue-collar VC, Garuth Acharya.
Chicken wings versus lobster roll versus pasties.
And next, right out of Maine, he's back for more, the Lobster Man, Prism co-founder Matthew Hawkins. And we're not going to kick off our red-suited friend, Mr. Michael Knickerbocker. All right, gentlemen, so here's how this is going to work. For the friends at home, we've populated a list of air and maritime autonomy companies. We're going to do top 5. We're going to do 5 in air and then 5 in maritime. Our analysts are going to give you their top 5. They're going to go ahead, stick them on the board from 5 to 1, and tell us what they're thinking. Then we'll have a little bit of a conversation about it. We'll break this market down. We'll see who's got the momentum on the floor today. All right? Garuth, you ready to kick us off, brother?
All right, let's do it. I'm fired up.
Let's roll with Air. We'll go Air first. You guys, your names are here twice. Garuth, you're starting on the far left. Air, start from 5 to 1. And just tell us what you're thinking, man. Give us your number 5 pick in the Air autonomy market.
All right. So 5 to 1. I'm going to start off with Firestorm first.
Firestorm
All
Labs. Pick
At 5?
sliding it in the 5 spot for Garuth
Jeez, don't tell
Acharya.
Dan.
Just pull the back off of that sucker and stick that thing right on there. Hey, team, just a reminder, the challenge booth is open. So if at the end of this round you think somebody muffed this punt, get on up there and haul that thing. All right, give us your logic behind 5, Garuth. What's up with Firestorm? What's going on?
Look, Firestorm has a lot that's going on. Big fan. Additive manufacturing or deploying these things at the edge, getting it out to the warfighter. This is great. But in my mind, I think there's a couple others that rank a little bit higher. But big fan of what the team is doing. I think deploying to the warfighter in the war zone is important, which is why they ranked in my top 5. Big fan of the other 4 as well.
Awesome. Well, we love to see that. Number 5, Firestorm Labs. Garuth, why don't we'll just power rank yours.
Power rank?
All
all right. Number 4.
Give us number 4. Who's slotting in at number 4 for Garuth?
All right. I'm going to put this down.
Just go ahead and make yourself at home here. This is playtime. AeroVironment, AVAV, publicly traded company, slotting in at number 4. What's going on here? Tell us what's going on with AeroVironment.
AeroVironment is a household name in the UAV realm. And so, look, I'm a big fan of what these guys are doing. I think they're good. Public gives them opportunity for access to more capital. And I think M&A is a big play in the realm of where they're going to be succeeding. They can go ahead, access the capital, buy new companies, which can go ahead and spur it. So I think the next 3, I have a little bit more to talk to, and they fire me up a tad bit more. So that's it.
Hey, look, it's all good here. There's lots of room to win in this market. All right, Garuth, go ahead and unstick number 3. And as you unveil this pick, tell us what you're doing here.
Look, number 3 is actually my number 1. And hot take, PDW is that.
That makes no sense.
Look, there's 2 schools of thought, right? You could be honest about this, but look, PDW is my favorite out of all of the autonomy space for a couple reasons. One is, first and foremost, they got a killer platform, the C100. On top of that, they had 3 things. They do drones, right? They do both, they won the Army MRR program, which is incredible. You can take it out of a backpack, and it's kind of like your own Reaper in the air, right?
Stick that thing in there. You're going to hurt your back.
All right.
We got board failure. Here we go. PDW slotting in number 3.
PDW is actually one of my favorite companies of all time. Couple reasons. 1, 3 things that they do. They have a killer platform where you can launch ammunition, strap a grenade launcher to it, ISR. The second is they got a sick comm system operating in denied environments. So when we would talk about, frequency hopping, all this kind of good jazz, whether it's for SOCOM or brigade level folks, these guys are crushing. And the third, they got a sick modeling and simulation platform. And this is what I think is really important. You got to train before you go into the mission. And the more data you have, the better your drone operates. And that's why I think these guys are going to crush. They went toe-to-toe with Anduril, the Army MRR program. They're working with folks in the UAE. They're working with folks, Navy EOD, SEAL teams, the rest of SOCOM, and also law enforcement as well. Shout out to LEO.
Careful, baby. PDW is getting all excited with that sales pitch right there. Where's our PDW friends in the audience? That was nice. All right, Garuth. PDW slots in number 3. We're getting to the top 2. Give us a little preview of number 2.
Number 2 is a small startup. It's called Shield AI. Up and coming. I think the production team is out of Tejas. That's Texas in Spanish. Specifically, what fires me up about these guys is that, look, they're an OG household name. The second thing is that they got a killer AI platform. And third is, whether they're not dominating in the U.S., they're killing it in international sales. So shout out to the team. Big fan of what they're doing, whether it's both with the U.S., allies in NATO, and then also with the Indians as well. Big fan of what's on the near horizon.
All right, as Garuth sticks number 2, Shield AI in there, And no brotherly love in there. We didn't talk about the twins at the top, or the brothers at the top of the totem pole there. Okay, so now, drum roll, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Garuth's number 1 pick for air autonomy. What do we got?
Look, there's 2 schools of thought. One is you're conservative, and the second is you say these guys are absolutely crushing.
Monsters.
Anduril is absolutely crushing. I don't think anybody here has a debate. Look, these guys are crushing it with their Lattice platform. They're crushing it with their multiple different product lines, with their UAVs. Big fan. They're also number 2 on the Army RR program. So.
There it is, baby. Anduril, number 1 pick from Garuth. And that rounds out air autonomy rankings number 1. Well done, Garuth. Thank you for that breakdown. All right, wasting no time here. Mr. Michael Knickerbocker, let's get after it. Number 5 for you, sir. As you're sticking it, give us your...
So I've got AeroVironment for the same reasons that Garuth kind of shouted them out. Is they are a household name. They're well established, and they have a lot of success in the space, so why would I not put them 5?
First replicator win from the Switchblade. Number 4. Michael is sticking number 4 on the board right now, and it is...
Guy Dio? Is that like
again.
Ronnie
Big
James
fan.
Dio?
Skydio.
Knows a lot.
Yeah, I know. So here's the thing. A lot of people left them for dead when they got beat out by Teal. But here's one of the things that I always say is the iPhone is the iPhone. Why? Is it because it's just this amazing piece of hardware? No. What makes an iPhone so powerful is the apps that are on it and the network that actually makes it function. And this is where Skydio has gone now with their dock platform in order to recharge so that they can have their systems land on it, recharge, and then go back out. So at some point in time, being able to provide for your own logistics support, being able to recharge, that's going to give you more time on station, and sometimes the best capability is availability.
All right, sir, let's keep it rolling here. Number 3 for Mr. Knickerbocker. As you peel that tape, who we got?
All right, I don't have fingernails like him. So I got Firestorm Labs. I like what Dan and the team are doing out there in San Diego. It's a box that makes a drone in a box. How can you not love it?
Awesome. Yeah, this is hard. Okay.
So at number 2, I have Anduril. And for a lot of the same reasons is because, much like I said for Skydio, what Anduril is doing is it's a piece of the puzzle. So they've got their Sentry Tower, they've got Lattice, they're bringing in the different platforms that are going to fit into the different mission areas. So Anduril is meeting all of the requirements in order to kind of take it from where the fob is all the way to the front line.
Stick it on there, brother. Let's go at number 2. Anduril slotting in. I'll peel while you tell us number 1.
So number 1 is Shield AI. Because, again, they got the operating system, they know how to form partnerships, but most importantly, they just hired Yank Cummings, so they brought in an F-14 guy that helped write the script for Top Gun Maverick, so they're number 1.
Mic drop on that. Okay. These are quite complicated to peel, as it turns out, or we all just have stubby little fingernails, which is maybe the bigger problem. All right. I'm excited. To round us out here, we heard a lot of ideas. We heard a lot of qualitative, and now we're bringing up the founder of one of the big quantitative platforms in the space, Mr. Matt Hawkins. Let's get your top 5.
Dude, I love the get up. It's fucking fresh. I love it.
All right, so Noah, what I'm going to ask you to do is unpeel these while I give the rationale for my top 5, and I'll just do a rapid fire. So
Let's do it.
Big thing about my company Prism is that we're trying to make sense of the defense ecosystem, and so I really wanted to take a look at who's got great contract momentum right now, who's got a mission fit right now. Obviously, Anduril and Shield are 2 of the biggest names. They've got great contracts, but I didn't want to just make my ranking based on who's got the most money, but really who's got the most velocity, and I'm not even a VC to say that. So I think that's a pretty smart one, Garuth. quote me on that. So my first one, my number 5, actually going down the list is going to be Shield AI. So I'm putting them down at the list, not because there's other companies we looked at. They're definitely in my top 5. As Mike said, their operating system, HiveMind, is incredible. It's a great way to build out programs of record. But I think that there's other companies on the list that I want to call out more. But still, Shield AI is one of the best American companies out there today. So shout out to that team. Leave that there. All right, next up, number 4 for me, Boston company. That's not why I'm picking them. Merlin Labs. I really like their dual use play. So they have a lot of really solid contracts. Most recently, being an over $100 million contract with SOCOM. That's actually an OTA. Talking about just this week, we saw a lot of momentum around that type of contracting vehicle. They're moving it. They're showing folks how it's done with both the hardware and software play. Merlin Labs, number 4. Number 3, shout out to the San Diego fam at Firestorm Labs. Love what these guys are doing, mostly from a product perspective. They really think about the end-to-end user experience of the operator. They're also building for the future fight while also still sustaining the current one. So shout out to Dan and the team at Firestorm. My top 2. This one was tough. I'm going to first go with number 2 as Neros. So earlier stage company, but a ton of velocity right now. I think we're seeing in the war in Ukraine that first-person viewing has been a huge tactical advantage. And so I think Neros is doing an amazing job with it. They also got a ton of momentum right now. So shout out to Neros. And then last but not least, to round it out, my number 1 is Skydio. And I think this is motivated by more of a global perspective that the world does need a better competitor to DJI. And I think it needs to be an American company. And so what Skydio is doing for both commercial and the government market is incredible. They got a great product, as Mike talked about, with their docking system. They're my number 1 company. Those are my 5.
There it is. All right, gentlemen. That is a power ranking right there. So for the folks in the audience here, there's a lot of similar names on here. You see Skydio on 2 of the 3. You see Shield AI on 3 of the 3. We see Anduril on 2 of the 3. Firestorm Labs on 3 of the 3. We have a challenge flag. Ladies and gentlemen, our first challenge of the afternoon. Sir, what's your name and what's your challenge?
My name's Joe. My challenge is, Anduril makes it on 2 of the lists, but not the 3rd. What kept Anduril off of your list?
Is that a challenge or a question?
Anduril should be on your list. Why is it not?
Okay, so the challenge was to me that I didn't pick Anduril, and Joe from the audience wanted to pick a fight over that. Here's the thing. I'm talking about power rankings. I think they have an amazing product. They have an amazing team at Anduril. But when I'm talking about like who's next and where would I put my money right now, where would I invest? Anduril's doing an amazing job. They're building out their own ecosystem. But if we're talking about deterring, the future fight, we need to have a more robust industrial base. We need to have a broader diversity of capabilities. And so with the 5 that I had to pick, it was tough. No offense to Anduril, they'd definitely be maybe top 7. But that's why I didn't pick them.
What just 2 things on that. Love your inclusion of Neros on there with JD Vance taking a photo with them. I think I saw that on Twitter. So shout out to the White House PR team for their support of the industrial base and defense tech.
And that is Vice President JD Vance.
Yeah. We're not on first name basis yet, but VP Vance.
There you go.
Very cool. Okay, so we have a challenge. We have a rebuttal. What do you think, team?
I'm not changing it.
Not changing it. What do we think?
I'm sticking with mine.
How did Matt do on his rebuttal? We think up, yay or nay?
Look, I think it's a poetic answer, and I like it.
He was John Kerry on the campaign trail. He did whatever he could to straddle the fence there and not actually harden up his stance. So I'm going to give it to the challenger.
You got more waffles than a
Mike,
house
you better
of
put your helmet back on there, buddy.
pancakes. Okay, so it's 1-1. I'm the tiebreaker vote. I thought he defended himself well. We'll let Matt keep his seat.
Let's go.
All right. Gentlemen, so that rounds out our air autonomy power rankings. Nice job with these. We had a little bit of, we have a little bit of spice in here, a little PDW, a little Neros, but a lot of consistency. AeroVironment, Firestorm, Shield, pretty much on every list. I think we see there's some kind of clustering at the top, and a lot of game left to play. A lot can change in the next 6 to 12 months. All right, with that, let's move into maybe even the hotter autonomy market right now. This one's on fire. Maritime autonomy. Every time I look on the internet, there is a new maritime autonomy company popping up. There is news. There is attention. We heard about it here at Apex today. Mike, come on up here and give us your top 5 maritime autonomy companies.
So my number 5, much like Garuth, is actually my number 1.
Bold.
And
Challenge.
So Blue
the challenge pack is going to be coming back.
Blue Water Autonomy is being led by a SWO. And it's being led by a guy who spent more than a year in Ukraine, in Austin Gray. They know the space. They know what it takes to operate a ship at sea. They started big right away because at the end of the day, what I'm going to need to project naval powers, large platforms that can carry large payloads that are going to put the other adversarial ships at the bottom of the ocean.
So a bet on team is what we're hearing there. A bet on team.
11-10 Pride, baby.
There it is. Okay, and at
So
number 4.
At number 4, I have VATN Systems. What Nelson is doing there in Portsmouth, Rhode Island is awesome. Rhode Island is building this great ecosystem up there. You've got Anduril is looking at moving a facility in there. They're up in nearby Quincy, Mass., but also planning some stuff in the state of Rhode Island. You have Regent Craft, who I know Garuth is a big fan of. But
Garuth, let's see that
VATN
hat you got on there. Help
Systems.
out time out. You called him out. Let the man show off his hardware. What do you got on your head there?
Look. Shout out to Regent Craft. Big fan of Billy. Big fan of Tom Huntley here in D.C. They got a great rooftop. D.C. summer vibes. Post drinks over there.
Does that maritime autonomy count?
They have an autonomous.
Nice.
Version.
Okay.
It's light
Number
touch
6.
autonomy.
Number
All right,
6.
Mike.
Light
nice
touch.
job.
But VATN Systems, I think, is going to be the one that comes for the Lionfish program and is going to wrestle away from HII and Remus.
All right, who we got checking in?
So at number 3, I have Havoc AI, and I think Havoc AI is going to shoot up this board because what they just did at Project Convergence, and then they announced the Sea Hound. They're going to bigger. I wasn't necessarily a believer at first, but after seeing what they've actually done at Silent Swarm and going to Project Convergence, they're not just about flashy videos. They're about putting boats in the water and executing live missions.
I don't know if our buddy Brad Harrison is still in the audience here, but you spent a lot of time with Brad today. That Havoc is
He's on an airplane.
Is running up the charts.
They have a SWO on the founding team, and they have an EA6B guy that's the CEO that's going to understand how to do distributed electronic
Folks,
warfare.
if you haven't figured this out yet, there is a way to buy Michael's heart and vote, and it has 3 letters, SWO. Okay, sir, who we got at number 2?
So at number 2, another team that I know pretty well, and I love the team and the leadership, and I think that they are showing that they understand the space, despite being a bunch of very nice, handsome special operators. It's Saronic. So Dino and the team there are now unveiling more craft. They've understood that they need to get big with Marauder at over 100 feet, and that they're also going in the in-between and moving quickly past just Spyglass and Cutlass. So you're going to need multiple platforms in order to perform the missions that are going to be needed at sea in the blue water.
And last, but absolutely not least, in fact, the opposite, who's checking in at number 1?
So I guess I'm coming off as an Anduril fanboy, but here's what gave them number 1 to me, was actually their unveiling at Sierra in Space with the deployable underwater acoustic sensors for seabed sentry. Because again, when I talk that you have to have all those things to make the iPhone great, Anduril's gone out and has deployable sensors that can then connect with their UUVs. They're working on their USV with an established prime. They understand the space and have other people that understand the space and are building it bottom out. And I think that they're going to continue to hold that spot until Blue Water or Havoc unseat them.
All right. Hey, well, and he's calling his shot. He not
That was
only
big.
might someone unseat him, he's calling the shot. Listen, folks, you can't get this anywhere else, right? VCs, they like to introduce their investing in the space with maybe a nice market map, a few.
And I can be bought
companies,
with
a few
gainful
logos.
employment.
That was I think phenomenal analysis. Thank you, Michael. Let's go ahead, Garuth. Hop on up here. Let's get your top 5.
Let's see that market map.
All right. Coming
Sorry,
in
that
hot
wasn't
with
a
my
shot
market
at you,
map.
brother.
No.
You
Don't
got
forget
some
I'm a blue collar VC. Never
Blue
forget
collar
it.
VC.
Never forget it.
Shout out VC Brags.
I'm forklift certified. All right.
He went
First
to the
one, we're
Big
gonna
Ten,
go
not Stanford, so he's blue collar all the way.
100%. I'm a Central Pennsylvania boy.
Big pen guy.
First one we're going to go with is Vatten. Big fan of Nelson Mills. I think the leadership over there is incredible. Love the grit, love their ability to deploy pretty fast and iterate on product. The second, or number 4, we're going to go in with the Region Craft alumni, Havoc AI. Big fan of what they're doing in the realm of autonomy and maritime. I think attritable systems, being able to go deep, fast, ready to ride. Havoc AI does that.
Riding the Rhode Island
Absolutely.
ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Hammer Rhode Island. Long Rhode Island. All right.
There's a reason Taylor Swift loves Rhode Island.
Clam cakes are all.
Big
That's
autonomy
number 4.
fan.
All right. Checking in at number 3. Who we got at number 3?
Number 3, we're going to go with a small up-and-coming startup, Sail Drone on the West Coast. Big fan of what they're doing, backed by some big dogs on the cap table as well. Shout out to the venture folk. But let's show them some love. I think they were OG in the maritime space. They've been historically, backed by some of the big players within the IC and within the Navy, if I remember correctly. Incredible in what they're doing.
Fascinating founder story there, too. Richard's a pretty interesting guy, setting the speed record for foil ships or something like that.
So coming in with number 2, I think I stand along with Mike. Big fan of Saronic. Dino is a great guy on top of being a blue-collar Wharton grad with his MBA. He was a former SEAL, but really the Tier 1 guy on their team, no shade against the Tier 1s, is John Morgan. We used to work together at a small up-and-coming space company called SpaceX, and he was my production supervisor. So we used to be building composite interstages together.
Best collection of jawlines in the industry, too.
Yeah, no, and beautiful. He also looks great in a seersucker suit.
I think the trick for Guru, to be blue-collar to Guru, you just can't go to Yale or Harvard. Is pretty much
Look, I'm a state school guy. Let's keep it kosher. Last one is Anduril. Look, these guys, I think, are doing a couple things. One is they got immense amounts of capital. Number 2, they're leveraging the geopolitical tailwinds with AUKUS. I don't know how much about the Brits, but the Aussies are coming in hard, and the relationship between us and them is very close, and Anduril is definitely riding on those tides, and they have an incredible bench of engineers, and I think Anduril is going to stay on top, at least for the foreseeable future, but close second to Saronic. Who's not on this list, shout out Region Craft, big fan of Billy, Tom Huntley, and the rest of the team. Keep crushing.
All right. Thank you, Garuth. So we've got Anduril and Saronic in the top 1 and 2 spots for 2 of our 3 analysts. Mr. Hawkins, will we go 3 for 3?
No.
Let's see. Oh, you don't spoil it. You don't give away the show. Everybody's going to tune off the live stream. Stick around, folks. I promise. There's some good surprises at the end. All right, Matt. Take us away. Who we got at 5?
All right. So my power rankings, just like the last time, are going to be informed by the velocity of these companies right now, not just their, capability set or their current contract size alone, right? Anduril's crushing it. Anduril's not even going to be on this list, not because I don't like them, but because there's other companies I want to shout out. The first one, if you want to go toe-to-toe on autonomous sail drones, Ocean Arrow, I'm taking over Sail Drone, all right? I think that key thing here, this is a multi-domain platform, so independent of the contracts, the fact that this thing can go above water and below water, just cool stuff.
Provocative, I like it.
Yeah, all right, so we like
Michael Clark, also a SWO, knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Big SWO energy. Okay, so Ocean Arrow, number 5. Number 4, Saronic. I am going to put them on the list. I do really like the way they've been going to market, right? They're on a really strong OTA right now, about $23 million awarded so far, so they've got capital. They've been using that to leverage into larger venture investments to keep scaling their company. Love what they're doing. Number 3, I think I have Blue Water Autonomy. I had it number 2. So Vatten and Bedrock, yes, my number 3, probably off everybody's radar, is Bedrock Systems. This is or Bedrock Ocean Experimentation. The reason why I think deep sea exploration and deep sea ISR is going to be a huge thing in the next decade. This company has an attritable system, very commercially developed, really strong momentum with a company that I think is going to bode well in the DoD's focus on commercial technology. That's number 3. Number 2 is Blue Water Autonomy, so another Boston company. I do love what Austin and his team are doing, not because it's been getting a lot of energy and because they have a founding team, but what I really love is that they're so focused on a new type of capability set that's going to have a lot of dual use opportunities. So love the momentum that they have right now. Number 1, Vatten Systems out and around. Love what Nelson's doing with his team. This is a really well-run company that was patient with its capital. They didn't take too much of a round to begin with. They built a great product. That's why they're my number 1, especially because of how much they can scale across not just the services but the commercial market as well. So that's my top 5.
Shout out. Thank you, Matt. Awesome. Well, yeah, and if you want to catch, Matt actually had a great conversation with Austin Gray last week, I believe, Blue Water Autonomy. Vat and Systems on here a few times. Nelson Mills will be here tomorrow on, I believe, on the Inside Stage.
And Blue Water Autonomy had a craft in the water doing testing before they came out of stealth. So they know what they're talking about. They're not just a PowerPoint slide.
Love to hear it. All right, gentlemen. This concludes our very first, but certainly not the last, Defense Game Day Power Rankings. Keep an eye on this thing. We're going to keep this updated because, as we know, this market changes fast. Contract wins make change. Will move people around. It's pretty cool. Let's close on this, guys. These are some heavy hitters. A lot of folks in this audience may have heard of many of these names, if not all of these names. Some. Give us a dark horse autonomy company. Maybe one that we didn't talk about today. Maybe one that's just coming out of stealth. Maybe the one that maybe you're on the cap table. Maybe not, Garuth. For others, someone you're looking at longingly from afar and kind of getting excited. I'll give you a few seconds here, filibuster, so you can think about this. I didn't tell them they were going to get a dark horse question. So we keep things we keep it a little spicy here on Defense Game Day. Michael's ready now. Kick us off.
So, in the airspace, but they're also maritime, is Levanta Tech and Kelly Eccles. So they have their prototype for the Halia, which is a wing and ground effect float and fly drone. They started working on things around the same time that Regent caught a bunch of eyes. They're working on a similar technology, but keeping it at a much smaller scale, except they still have something with a large enough footprint to carry a meaningful payload and be able to loiter for 6 months at a time. But he's an older guy and a former lawyer and not a Stanford undergrad, so I don't think he's getting the hype train behind him. But mark my words, if you get in on Levanta Tech and Kelly Eccles, great founding team, they're going places.
Not investment advice, but we love a little bit of conviction in our takes. Thank you, Mr. Nick.
Clearly, I don't know anything about investing. You should see my portfolio.
Just give all the caveats apply. All right. Garuth, who you got for us?
I'm going to go a little spicy. I'm going to go with Chris Amidon at Amidon Heavy Industries. I'm a big fan of what they're doing. They're playing in the autonomy space, but for maritime, not so much for air. I think air is a little spicy at the moment. I'm going to go mostly focus on maritime right now, given I think that's where the domain is in my expertise. So
shout out to Chris and Amidon.
Based on an El Segundo, the Mafia is strong.
Yeah, the Segundo Mafia. We're going to do a whole segment on El Segundo. That's coming up. All right, Mr. Hawkins, finish us off.
All right, this might be my hottest take.
Hottest take. We got the fire alert. Fire emojis. Fire it up.
My dark horse in autonomy, Lockheed Martin.
Whoa.
All right? Because
Whoa.
Here's the thing.
Sound the alarm. We got any Lockheed people in the building?
Yeah.
Any Lockheed Martin reps in the building? You just got shouted out from Defense Game Day at the startup stage. We got an early stage panel of founders. Lockheed Martin. Okay. You're also an alum. There's a little bias.
I'm an alum, but here's the thing.
Let's hear it.
They just NGAD, right? That's publicly known. They are trying to figure out what's their next play, right? They didn't get CCA either. They're trying to figure out the next play. This company is known for innovation. Everybody's sleeping on them because they're paying attention to what A16Z and all those companies are investing in. But this is a crown jewel of America. They're going to come up with something. So that's my dark horse. Don't sleep on the primes. Don't sleep on Lockheed. It's still a great American company. It's going to do some cool stuff. Mic drop.
You know what? Would love to see it. Gentlemen, fantastic.
Yeah,
well done. Can we get a round of applause? That's a pretty nice round of power rankings. We like the dark horse. We like some spicy takes. There's a good mix of insight and a little bit of stir in the pot. Thank you, guys. All right, gentlemen. I want to thank everybody here. First off, to our live audience, thank you for sticking with us. We've had a start and stop day. We did pregame, postgame. Guess what? We will be back right here on this stage tomorrow morning, 7:45 a.m. Eastern. We'll be live, bringing you everything you need to know to get ready for the day. We got one or two fun games as well. We may play a little King of the Hill, a little acronym Jeopardy, maybe even a fantasy draft. Some of the same players we heard about today on the Fantasy Power Rankings, we're going to rank some of those players, see how people might draft their starting five. I want to go ahead and shout out one more time, Apex Defense, thank you for making this happen. And to all of our partners, to Forterra, to the Arena, and to not last but certainly not least, my friend Matt at Prism. thank you for making this happen. We're excited to be here. We're just getting started. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.